Hey everybody, welcome to NZ Pocket Guide and the NZ Travel Show. We're here for another session for a whole hour with you. Today we're going to be answering all your questions about traveling in New Zealand and covering the latest news about, well, traveling in New Zealand because we kind of are the expert of traveling in New Zealand. But Laura, why are we the experts?
Well, Robin, this is Robin and I'm Laura and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand. Now that the borders have been announced when they're going to be open for tourists, now is the perfect time to start planning that dream adventure that I know you guys have been waiting a while to have. So NZPocketGuide.com is 100% free for you guys to use and browse at your leisure. But if you're not really into reading, this is what the NZ Travel Show is all about. You guys can come and ask your New Zealand travel questions directly to the experts on the live chat. And we answer everything that comes through on the live chat. But if you do miss the live show, then you can always put your questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos. And our handy comment editor, Robin, will answer.
Am I handy?
Yeah, we'll answer all those questions for you in the comments section, or sometimes we pull some of the sort of meatier questions together and go through those in the next travel show. So, yeah.
All right, so the whole live session today started on a little bit of a confusion. I see in the live chat with Natasha asking if we're starting an hour later today usually. So Natasha is one of our lovely supporters on Patreon, so I know she's from Canada. And it looks like Natasha doesn't know that you guys are changing your clocks on the 13th of March and on the 6th of November. So at those 2 times in a year, we may have an extra hour of difference between us and New Zealand. So now you know. So 13th of March and 9th of November in Canada. In New Zealand, we are changing time zone in April. Like on the 3rd of April, if I'm correct. So on the 3rd of April, we will let everybody know. We'll do a post on YouTube. We'll do a post on the Patreon secret, super safety, secret group, whatever.
Safety.
Not safety, yeah, super safe group. So we'll get everybody in the know. But yeah, it looks like there was a little bit of confusion there. We also had Anthony Comstock that says Morena from Rodeo, California. What does Morena mean, Laura?
It means good morning in the local language of New Zealand, which is Te Reo Maori.
Here you go. Okay, so Extreme Talauta says Morena as well. Natasha is saying she's very confused right now, but I hope I helped clear the confusion for you. That may be what happened.
Maybe.
Nathan Bates says Morena, everyone. How are you doing, Nathan? And we also have Tamo all the way from Estonia, another one of our lovely Patreon supporter, and he says good evening. So I do have a poll for you guys since, today, this week was a week full of news. We had the working holiday visa starting. We had a new announcement on the borders with all the dates pushed forward, which is fantastic. So I'm just asking, since the New Zealand borders are opening to most tourists on the 1st of May, when will you come to holiday in New Zealand? So will it be within a month? Literally, like within the month of May, you're going to jump in the plane and come to New Zealand by the end of the year, so by the end of the year 2022, or will you wait until 2023? So you got 3 choices right here, and astutely, Anthony said that I needed to add another option for people that don't know yet, but I can't edit the poll anymore, so sorry. Yeah, you don't have an option of editing the poll after the fact. I guess otherwise, I can make the result that I want. I can just change words. So that's probably what it is.
We don't want a corrupt polling system.
Exactly.
Here.
Our polls are like, scientifically proven to
achieve nothing, but feed our curiosity.
To achieve nothing. So here you go. Adil says, Kia ora, Robin and Laura. I would like to know if the New Zealand Archery Tour and the Hanmer Spring Adventure Centre are wheelchair accessible.
So, for New Zealand, from memory...
New Zealand, which is the Archery Tour.
Which is the Archery Tour, yes. This tour it's mostly flat. There is a little bit of a walk, which I remember we were doing a walk over like a paddock over some grass to get to the archery section, but it is all quite flat, and I think with some assistance, so someone pushing the wheelchair. I'm not sure how easy it would be able to do pushing yourself in the wheelchair, but with assistance, I really don't see why that would not be wheelchair accessible, because once you get into the forest, also there are like very well graded paths to get to get to the archery section. So yeah, but as you know, Adil, as we say all the time, always make sure you check with the activity provider. But just off the top of our head, if we were to, speculate whether or not they're wheelchair accessible, I think that they are with some assistance. And then for the Hamner Springs Adventure Centre, the Adventure Centre in town, which is where they do the base of operations. So the apologies. So the Hammer Springs Adventure Centre in town is basically the base of where they do their tours for mountain biking or for rocket biking or to go quad biking, that sort of thing. So definitely their base in town is wheelchair accessible. But in terms of all the activities they offer, I don't think a lot of them would be wheelchair accessible. So it depends what you want to do, Adil, with the Hammer Springs Adventure Centre. But again, always get in touch with them and I'm sure they can give you some more specifics.
All right, so Ashwini says, hi, I can visit New Zealand next month, ? I am planning to settle in New Zealand. Study visa is better or work visa? So it will have to depend on your situation. If you want to study or if you want to work in New Zealand, you need to get yourself the appropriate visa. The best way for you to check which visa is the right visa for you will be to head to Immigration New Zealand website, which is immigration.govt.nz, which is handily just written right here. So that is going to be all your visa questions. Now, if you do not have a visa just yet into New Zealand, it is highly likely that you're going to be subject to the step 5 of the New Zealand borders opening, meaning that you won't be able to travel to New Zealand next month, and you will have to wait until the step 5, which at the moment is scheduled for October 2022. There is some chances that this will be pushed forward, meaning that you may be able to come and travel to New Zealand earlier than that. But at this stage, if you do not currently hold a visa for New Zealand and you're not part of all the visa waiver countries coming to New Zealand on a holiday, blah blah, we will cover that in a minute. You may want to go to immigration.govt.nz, get started on doing your research. Then in October 2022, you're likely to be able to start applying, and then it takes a few months, maybe between 2 to 12 months to get your visa, and then after that you may be able to come to New Zealand. So make sure you do your research, make sure you go to the correct immigration sources and you don't go to any other spammy website, and you should be good to go. What is Nathan having to say?
Nathan says, I'm very excited for the Cook Islands Pocket Guide once that is up and running.
Yeah, so are we. Laura is working on, she's almost finished with photoshopping most of the bulk of the photos that we're going to need in order to make the travel guide. And then it comes to me, I have to Photoshop some more photos. And after that, we just start churning some content and get everything running. So
start writing. Well, we've actually already started writing a few of the guides there on Cook Islands Pocket Guide, but we actually start writing basically until we're finished with the guide starting from tomorrow. So exciting times.
Okay. Ideal says thank you very much. Robert is pitching in on Natasha's problem. It's not her problem, but it's time changes. So he say, I guess he's in Canada as well, Robert. And he says to Natasha, we moved our clocks ahead on Sunday. So here you go. That was on Sunday that you guys moved your clock. So this is why maybe with the time you get confused. Don't worry, it's happening again at the beginning of April since we're going to move our clock. And so therefore the time is going to change. So here you go.
Ashwini says, thank you very much. You are very welcome. And Natasha says, we did too. That's why I'm confused.
Well, this is because you moved your clock, but we didn't yet. So when like a country moved their clock, right? Doesn't mean all the other countries move their clock. We're moving ours in April. So when we're going to move our clock in April, you won't move it. Therefore, there's going to be another time difference. So there is always like there is always like kind of a buffer of like a few weeks or maybe about a month where everybody's like offset by a little bit more, and then boom, it just reestablishes itself for like 5 months, and then you have a month of confusion, and then you get 5 months. That's where I think the confusion lies right here, because you move your clock, but we don't. And then in April, we'll move our clock. That said, I'm completely against all this daylight saving nonsense. I'm like, can you just stay at the same time? I do not care. I don't understand why we're doing that. But
because other people's lives are determined by the times, as is ours on a Sunday at 8 a.m.
Yeah, it can stay the same. I don't care.
Some people don't want to wake up in like when it's people don't want to go to work while it's still dark, or they don't want to get That's why it's for the
It
working
confuses
men.
Natasha. Natasha is confused. We need to
But
change
Natasha,
the law.
I think Natasha gets it now because she says, "Oh," like that.
And what she said after that?
Then she says, "I didn't realize it was different across the globe. It all makes sense now."
All right, here you go. We
We're
clear
a
the
very
confusion.
educational channel
I mean, here you go,
at
you know.
nzpocketguide.com.
Yeah. All right. By the way, if you find this channel educational, hit the like button. It's a great free way to reward all our hard work. And in the meantime, we're gonna need to get started on some news. There's a lot of news this week, so let's start talking. Oh, what do you say? David says, loving the daylight saving debate.
It is a debate indeed.
It is a debate indeed, and I'm gonna win. There is no need for that. You can suck it up for an hour. It's absolutely okay if it just avoids an entire global confusion twice a year.
That is very true.
Like, you confuse the entire world for
Yes.
1 month, for 2 months. No, for 1 month twice a year. So 2 months a year. There is a month of confusion for anyone that does anything international. In the age of the internet,
Yeah.
everything is international. This is nonsense.
and actually, to be fair,
Eradicate the daylight savings. That's
yeah,
it.
for half a year actually, for the time difference between here and the UK, which is obviously where my family is
Yeah.
from, talking to them means like during summer when daylight savings is off. Or
You say you don't
See,
even
I don't
know.
even know.
It needs
but
to be
yeah,
done.
but then there's like an extra hour that is like, I'm not staying up until like 9. Well, I'm not gonna wait till 9
Old
p.m. to like to talk to people. It's so late for me. Like, it's just just keep it at a good time all year round because it does get a bit confusing.
Indeed.
Actually.
All right, so Anthony says next year, they're in America, they're changing their clock, are going to stay the same all year round to daylight savings time all year. Good. I'm glad you guys are leading the world into the right path. Or hopefully we'll follow suit.
If you remember, quite a few sessions ago, a town in New Zealand called Tianau declared that they were going to have their own time zone. Well, kind of like they were going to get rid of daylight savings so that people in Tianau would experience like Milford Sound or something for a bit longer than the rest of the country. So yeah, there's a town actually in New Zealand that has gone against the grain and made their own sort of daylight
Good on
savings
them.
rules.
Good on them. Joey Harb, all the way from Australia, says, G'day, guys.
G'day.
What is the sesh guide saying?
Hey guys, do you have any idea about the form we need to fill before arriving in New Zealand? Talking about visa holders eligible after the 12th of April.
So, the form. So, if you already have your visa and everything, you probably are talking about the traveler form, the one that you're being given in the plane that you have to fill up. Is that what you're talking about? If it is what you're talking about, yes, we do have an article on NZ Pocket Guide, which I'm going to pull up right now as Laura is while Laura is explaining a little bit more about it. Did I load everything properly?
Yeah,
Let's have a look. And yes, I have. Boom, transition. Go.
All right. So yeah, the form you need to fill out before arriving in New Zealand is the passenger arrival form, which has been in effect for coming to New Zealand since we've always known. But it has changed recently to include, it has an extra slip on it now to include some COVID information. So including, when you had your vaccine or when you were last tested, etc., etc. We do actually need to update some of the images, which I did take some new images of the new passenger arrival form recently. But yeah, we do have a full guide on nzpocketguide.com, which goes through the usual biosecurity questions, the customs questions, all that, so you can have a little bit of a look through that before you actually arrive on the plane. And just in case you're like, oh, how do I fill this out? What does this mean? Do I really need to tick all these boxes? Yes, you can just get a good preview of that on nzpocketguide.com on the page that Robin is scrolling through right now, as you can see on screen. So yeah, that's what the passenger arrival form is. It's very easy to fill out, and the thing to remember is to not lie on it, or if you have any doubt, just tick yes, I do declare. For the biosecurity questions, if it's like, have you got sports equipment? And you're like, well, I don't know if these class as sports equipment, my shoes or whatever, but just tick yes and explain it to the biosecurity officers when they ask you about it. When you arrive, usually they're just like, smile and let you through, or just, we'll ask you to maybe clean a little bit of mud if you've got muddy shoes, but clean your shoes before you come to New Zealand. So yeah, if you are asking about the passenger arrival form, that is the passenger arrival form in a nutshell. If you're talking about another form, just let us know in the comments. And
we need context.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so this was a new. I'm gonna start again. This was a week full of news. There was a lot of amazing news happening for travelers and working holiday makers in New Zealand. Mainly, first up, the working holiday makers were able to enter New Zealand again starting on Monday, and it started with a handful of countries which are not subject to quotas when it comes to working holiday visas, and that includes Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, United Kingdom, USA, and Japan. We did some videos on the channel to cover the entire announcement, and we also did some videos on the channel showcasing that some people were already receiving their visas. Has your friend received a visa yet, or is she still waiting?
I think she's still waiting.
All right.
They have to wait for them to do medical certificates and stuff like that.
So we also have had some other people than the lady that are featured in that video that actually have already told us that they got their visa. So working holiday makers from those countries can already come to New Zealand. Then all other countries which have a working holiday visa are going to come in a staggered way, are going to be allowed in the country in a staggered way, starting from the 16th of March all the way to the 13th of September. It's basically like 3, 4, 5, 6 countries every month. And people are going to be able to come in New Zealand and get a gap year and experience a gap year. That's really, really, really epic. The next thing that has happened is that there was some clarification, on the New Zealand border opening plan, including a move forward of the date for pretty much all travelers coming to New Zealand. I do know it doesn't cover all travelers, but like the vast majority of people that usually come and travel to New Zealand, which are people from visa waiver countries, are going to be able to come and holiday in New Zealand very soon. Laura.
So, from the 12th of April, fully vaccinated Australians will be able to come to New Zealand. And then fully vaccinated travellers from visa waiver countries will be able to enter the country on the 1st of May. And people that already have a valid visa to New Zealand will also be able to enter New Zealand on that same day. So in the previous timeline, that was July 2022, but that's now been moved forward to the 1st of May. I can read the rest of the key points if you like. Yeah. So passport holders of some of the countries and territories that do not have to usually apply for a visitor visa before they travel to New Zealand must also hold an NZDT, which is a New Zealand Electronic Travel Authority.
We do have some information about the NZDT on NZ Pocket Guide. The website I was showing on screen a little bit before, so you can get all the information about that then. But it's basically just a small fee and a little bit of paperwork to fill in order to be entering New Zealand.
And just a few other notes. The border has already reopened to New Zealanders from around the world on Monday the 21st of March. And to critical and skilled workers are also eligible to enter the country without isolation. And travellers will not need to isolate on arrival. So that's all travellers will not need to self-isolate on arrival if they are fully vaccinated, but will need to provide a pre-departure test and take 2 RATs on day 0/1 and on day 5/6, which is the case for all arrivals at the border. And for visa processing by Immigration New Zealand is still scheduled to restart on October 2022.
All right, so just to make everything super clear right here, if you're part of a visa waiver country, you do not need a visa to come to holiday in New Zealand. What Laura is talking about applies to you. If you do need a visa, if you're currently wanting to apply for a visa, if you want a student visa, if you want a work visa, if you need a visa to come to New Zealand, this does not apply to you. This only applies to people that do not need a visa to come to New Zealand. I want to make that super clear because this is the vast bulk of the questions that we usually get on the video. Yeah. So again, if you do not need a visa, this applies to you. If you do need a visa and you don't have a visa, Immigration New Zealand is not going to start processing visas until October 2022 at this stage. It may reopen earlier, but right now this does not apply to you, sadly. Except obviously the exception that we talked about, such as the working holiday visa, which are already getting processed.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Finally, if you've heard anything about the My Vaccine Pass for New Zealand, well, this is getting phased out next week. So that will make travelling around New Zealand easier. basically something that you guys don't really need to worry about.
That would make Ian, the bus driver, very happy as
Yeah.
well. He was asking a lot about that. All right, so again, those news are really, really, really good news, and that means that, you know, people are going to come and start holidaying in New Zealand earlier. But yes, there are still some a bit stringent restriction into coming to New Zealand. You still have to get yourself your PCR test prior to departure, so that means you need to pay for the expensive test, get the results, make sure that when you get those results, it is very clearly written at what time and what date your test was, your swab and sample was taken, not when the test was analyzed, but when the swab and sample was taken. All right, so that's going to wrap up this news segment. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and reward all our hard work, and to stay up to date with all our videos. Plus, check out nzpocketguide.com for thousands of tips, hidden gems, and much more. What is the last chat saying? Joey says, hang on. We still got to do the PCR test, the expensive test, right? Kind of hoping by the time I get there, there will be a thing of the past. Well, hopefully, right? There are some countries which have had like super stringent entry conditions, such as the Cook Islands, for example, which is now phasing out the requirement for a PCR test and then going for the rat test now only. So it is something that probably is going to be phased out, but we don't have a time frame right now. You still have to do the PCR test right now. So yeah, it is the expensive test. But yeah, I know you're coming. You still have, you know, you're coming in December, so I think you still have some time to. I think it's likely it's gonna be gone by then. Hopefully. Maybe. You know my predictions. By now, you know my predictions. All right, moving on. B plus N says, Morena, I'm excited about news this week. Yeah, this is pretty good news. That Lizzie, what we just covered. But damn, this was a news-filled week. And for once, it was actually good news. How good did that feel?
Yeah, pretty good for once.
Yeah.
We have Khadiza saying, hi friends.
I think you forgot Helen Wilkinson.
Helen says, I'm glad I can book my tickets for September. Yay, that is exciting stuff. And then Khadiza says, hi friends. How are you?
How are you?
We are pretty well, thank you very much. How are you, Khadiza? Niaz says, is there a chance of earlier border opening for remaining internationals before October 2022?
So during the latest announcement, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, actually hinted pretty strongly that they will be looking at pushing those dates forwards as well. So the date for stage 5 for October 2022. However, they are facing some issues with Immigration New Zealand, which is just not ready to get started with visas again. So it's basically one of those things when you have political will and actual infrastructure that are colliding, and it just doesn't work just yet. So they're currently working out all the kinks and everything in the middle, and they will try to push that forward. But at this stage, she just announced again that it was currently slotted for October 2022, and that's the date she wanted to stick to today. Do you have COVID or what?
I was about to sneeze.
So that's currently the date right now. Now, is there some chances for it to be moved forward? Well, it was hinted by the actual Prime Minister of New Zealand. So I would say yes. However, when will that date be? I don't know. So I wouldn't book anything yet. I wouldn't ping my hopes on too much just yet. And I would just kind of just hang on a minute, wait a little bit, and see what happens.
But hey guys, as soon as that announcement is made, we will be publishing a video on the channel as we have every step of the border announcements changing and any updates that have been happening. So anyone that has been subscribed and had the notification bell on, basically they have received notifications for when a new video of ours comes out, and that's a good way to make sure that you're up to date with the new border announcements. So if you haven't already, make sure you click subscribe
and you click like to say thank you. Okay, we did 36 I think last week.
It was rather insane.
It was insane. Yeah, we did 36 last week. How epic was that? Okay, JD says, Morena guys, Morena. Okay, I got a working holiday visa as a 33 years old because I wasn't able to arrive in New Zealand during the border closure when I was 30. You think I'll have any issues with my working holiday visa since I'm in a special category? So did you receive that email from Immigration New Zealand saying that your working holiday visa was reissued to you? If you did get that email, then you will have all the explanations in there, and you will be able to go onto your portal on Immigration New Zealand. There is all the info right here that will help you out for that. So if you did have a visa working holiday visa in New Zealand, but due to the pandemic, you couldn't come inside New Zealand. I have a whole video about it that I published this week, so maybe you want to check it out. But if you had a working holiday visa in New Zealand and you couldn't make it into the country, then Immigration New Zealand has generously granted a working holiday visa to all those people. So that should all be sorted for you.
David.
What is David saying?
David says, just to clarify, working holiday visa folks that are vaccinated can enter without quarantine after the 12th. A bit spooked by the price tag that comes with MIQ.
David, just to make it really clear, if you're part of the country that don't have a quota, so if you're in Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, UK, USA, or Japan, if you're one of those countries right here, and you currently have a working holiday visa for New Zealand, you come to New Zealand right now fully vaccinated, you do the PCR test before coming to New Zealand, i.e. you will show that you don't have COVID, you get in the country tomorrow. It was opened for those countries that I just listed. It was opened on the 14th of March, and right now it's the 17th. So here you go. Here's your answer. So you don't have to wait for the 12th.
And yes, if you're fully vaccinated, you do not have to go into MIQ.
Yeah. If you're from a different country than what you the one I listed right here, David, just go ahead and tell me, and I have the list of literally the opening dates right here in front of me. So you just tell me your country, I'll tell you when you can come to New Zealand. As long as you meet the conditions of your visa, obviously as well.
Yes.
But yeah, you won't have to pay for MIQ because basically even like nobody, they're phasing out MIQ. It's really going to be for unvaccinated people in like certain conditions. They're phasing it out.
B+N said, I thought you can come into New Zealand with the rat test now.
Can
no.
you?
Well,
okay. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna do live research right now while Laura answers the next question.
We'll double check that.
Let me have a quick look for you.
The announcements so far have said PCR tests,
Yeah.
so Robin will double check. And Helen says, good evening from England. Good evening, Helen, who is here once again and is a regular viewer of ours nowadays.
Yeah, Helen Wilkinson.
And Henrique says, when can we enter New Zealand with an essential skills work visa? I'm Brazilian. Okay, so if you already have that visa and it's valid and it's already been issued to you, you can come to the country with on the 1st of May. So, yeah, so if that's already a visa that you have, and it, as I say, you already meet the conditions, it's still valid, then you can come from the 1st of May. If you haven't already applied for the visa, you don't have that visa, then you will have to wait until October 2022. That's when the visa processing starts.
All right, so let's answer B+N's question because she is right. So here you go. I'm showing you the screen right here. So this is the COVID-19 official website. And yes, you have a bit of information about the pre-departure testing. So on this page, it says pre-departure testing requirement from the 28th of February. Most travelers entering New Zealand from the 28th of February 2022 must provide evidence of a negative COVID-19 result from one of these 3 tests. The PCR test, the rat test, and the lamp test. So here you go. You got 3 different options. So yes, that is correct. The rat test is accepted to come and travel in New Zealand. So for the rat test, it's no more than 24 hours before you schedule departure. You leave it really to last minute. The PCR test is 48 hours before departure, and the lamp test is 24 hours before departure. So here's the information, and I would really like to thank B+N for making sure that we're providing the right information. We did do some check lately, but I guess we haven't checked this section of the site, enough because we were focused on like all the other news, and I apologize for that. So here you go, correction made.
Yeah, we will update all our information for future reference.
Exactly.
All right, we have Kiwi Lauren saying, hi team. The snow is finally starting to melt here. We still have tons of snow and ice with some ploughed snowbanks reaching higher than my head. Is your weather still nice there? So the weather is, it's obviously, as you can see by the way that we're dressed, it's kind of getting a little bit chillier now.
We're still going on a high tomorrow, so it'll be good.
It's still good weather for going outdoors and stuff. I think after quite a long dry spell, we've had like a little bit of rain this morning, but only a tiny amount. So it's still quite a comfortable temperature, but you can still... You can feel that winter is on its way.
Yeah.
Only just starting to come on its way.
Okay, so we have Enrique Silva that says, when can we enter New Zealand with an essential skill work? Did you do this one? No?
Where's that?
Above Kiwi Lauren. You're skipping a lot of people today.
No, yeah, I did that one.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
so-
sorry, Henrique, Laura did it. Okoro Israel says, hey guys, I'm from Nigeria, based in Kuwait, holding a Kuwait residency, and Kuwait is visa waiver country. Presently, I'm holding NZDT visitor visa. Is it possible for me to come to New Zealand next month? You may want to contact Immigration New Zealand to double check with that, just to make sure. And also, I mean, what we're talking about is 1st of May, so it's not in April, it's May, so it's not next month. But you may want to consider contacting Immigration New Zealand in order to get an answer. And in order to contact Immigration New Zealand, boom, you go to this address right here and you clarify everything with them because you have a pretty specific case. All right, Gabrielle says, I already give my like. Thanks for the live. Oh, thank you very much, Gabrielle. I really appreciate it. Your Gunplay says, can I enter New Zealand with a visitor visa next month?
Well, it's not next month, as Robin
it's
just
on the
said.
1st of May. First up, it's not next month. Everybody's like, calm down. It's not next month, the 1st of May. And second, do you already have your visitor visa or not? If you do need to apply for a visa, you cannot come. I made that really clear. You cannot. You're not in that stage. It's for visitor waiver countries. So if you need a visa to come to New Zealand, you don't have your visa, you can't get it until Immigration New Zealand is working on those visas again. And it's not happening until October 2022 at this stage. The date may change, but right now, that's the current stage.
If you guys need us to list all the visa waiver countries in this live chat, we actually have them all in front of us right now. If you want us to actually verbally say all the countries to you guys that are in the visa waiver categories, i.e. those people from those countries don't need a visa to come to New Zealand, then just let us know in the live chat and we will go through all those countries for you guys. If that just makes, if that makes things a bit easier for you.
All right, so David says, sounds great, arriving from Canada, so should be good. Nice one. When are you coming to New Zealand then? And by the way, there is a poll. Everybody, check the poll. Sander De Vries, which is our latest Patreon subscriber, says, hey, how are you guys? We're doing very well. Thank you very much. Don't forget to join the live session specific for Patreon at the end of this show. We have an extra hour because I noticed you haven't joined the Facebook group either just yet. So, yeah. Just join in the live session and we'll talk about all the different things for Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do the quick call out about Patreon right now. It's going to be really quickly. We have a bunch of awesome supporters, mainly producers Fabio, Tamo, Beverly, and Clay, and some amazing supporter level Patreon subscribers, Joey, Anthony, David, Natasha, Jaro, Hidden Amok, and now our latest Sander De Vries, which I didn't put on the list just yet because it was a hectic morning. Anyway, if you too want to support our channel, you can join us on Patreon. You get a lot of awesome perks, including access to a secret Facebook group in which we are posting pretty much almost every single day, and you can hang out with us quite a lot. We also have PDF travel guides of New Zealand that we will send you. You also get an extra live session every single week. After this one, we do another hour. And we can send you postcards from New Zealand. We also help you with planning your trip itinerary. We put all our notes on your trip itinerary to help out. And much more. So if you want to stock up on good karma, join us on Patreon and support all our good work, because honestly, we couldn't be doing it without the Patreons. Let's go back. No, that's that way, to the live chat. All right.
Your Gunplay says he's from Africa, so that was in reference to can he come on the visitor's visa next month. From what I know, I think
there's not that many countries from Africa, so it's likely that you will need to wait for October.
Yes.
I will list, like, once we clear up all the comments right now, we read all of them. I will read all the visa waiver countries of New Zealand, so like that we will have the whole that's a long list. But yeah, I will read that very soon. Okay, what is Kiwi Lauren saying?
Kiwi Lauren is replying to David saying, Saskatchewan here. I don't know how to pronounce that. Have I asked already where you're from? Hello, fellow Canadians. So
okay, so they're chit-chatting together.
Chit-chatting Canadian talk.
And David says he's from Calgary.
Joey says, so no need to spend $150.
It's 200 to 250 here in New Zealand, so you're pretty lucky.
Yes, when we went to the Cook Islands, we actually had to do a PCR test, which was very expensive.
Yeah. So, and he's talking about, doing PCR tests to come to New Zealand. Khalid, what is Khalid saying?
Khalid says, hello, what about new students from a visa waiver country?
Well, if you do need to get yourself a visa to come to New Zealand, you need to apply for a student visa. You need to wait for Immigration New Zealand to reopen, and therefore this is October 2022 at this stage.
For the visa waiver countries, this only applies to people visiting for a holiday.
So it's just holidays.
Yes.
We're talking about travel, holidays, tourism,
Yes.
tourists, visiting.
Extreme Taluta says, see you next week. I'm going to get ready for work.
Bye-bye.
See you next week, Extreme Taluta.
Heitanshi says, can you guys tell us, for new students, when will immigration be starting? October 2022 at this stage. Natasha says, hey David, I live in Surrey. I'm chill. Okay, you guys are all... Okay.
The Canadians are taking over the live chat.
They're teaming up right here. The Canadians. Okay, meeting at Tim Horton on 4th Street at 6 p.m. for all the Canadian. I'll be the guy with a pile of Timbites.
So as you can see, Robin has spent some time in Canada and knows all the Canadian lingo and culture. Adil says, there's no need to announce the names of the visa waiver countries, but please put the names on screen after the broadcast.
I could actually, I could do that if I go on immigration.
Yeah, because guys, you can actually access the list yourselves, but yeah, Robin will put it on screen.
I'll do it as I read it. Also, that means that Laura can get a glass of water, so it's not a bad thing either.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
right.
Are you doing that now, or?
I will be doing that in a minute. Okay. All right, I am going... Come on, system work. Ooh, that was the wrong number. Here you go, guys. Let's talk about the visa waiver countries and territories for visiting New Zealand. So I'm on the Immigration New Zealand website right here. And here you go. We have the whole list right here. Andorra, Argentina, Austria, Bahrain, Belgium, Brazil, Brunei, Bulgaria, Canada, Chile, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, whoop whoop Tamo, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Kuwait, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Macau, Malaysia, Malta, Mauritius, Mexico, Monaco, Netherlands, Norway, Oman, Poland, Portugal, Qatar, Romania, San Marino, Saudi Arabia, Seychelles, Singapore, Slovak Republic, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, United States of America, Uruguay, and Vatican. Here is the full list of all the visa waiver countries. That's all the countries we were talking about, and it's available on immigration.govt.nz, and then you can just go right here on the search bar and type visa waiver countries. How good is that? Boom. Laura, you can read some comments now. I need some water.
Yes. Angel Cherry, so that's a familiar name. I think you've been here before. I think
she has, yeah.
I have an NZETA, but not from a visa waiver country. Can I come to New Zealand on the 1st of May?
So the NZDT is not a visa. You can't come to New Zealand with just that. If you normally need a visa to come to travel to New Zealand, i.e. you usually need a visa to come to New Zealand to visit, you need the NZDT and your visa. You cannot just do with one of them. We have a lot of people that get sold by agents an NZDT and say it's a visa for New Zealand. It's not. It's a levy to have the right to enter New Zealand. This is absolutely not enough, and you need to contact Immigration New Zealand to know which visa you need, and you probably will only be able to apply for your visa in October 2022. Sorry, I know we've been really stern right now, but that's a question that we get really, really often, and I'm trying to be as crystal clear as possible with literally the Immigration New Zealand website on screen in order to try to help you guys to understand that you do need to apply by the rules, and all your questions are answered on that website right here, and that's the only place you should be getting your answers from, because that's the only official sources. All the other sources that you get are people trying to sell you immigration services, and we are not immigration advisors. Therefore, we cannot charge you for those services, and a lot of them are doing just a so-so job anyway. So please go straight to the source, immigration.govt.nz. You cannot believe how many people are literally sending me the entire paperwork, copies of their passports, and very fake looking paperwork and visas and offer of employment and all that. They're all very, very, very fake. Please stop doing that and falling for those scams. I'm just saying that because it is illegal for us to literally reply to your email and say, hey, this is fake. There is no way that's working, because we are not registered immigration advisor and we will face very hefty fines. We can't reply to your messages. We can't tell you, this is a bloody scam. Open your eyes. Like sometimes I show it to Laura and I'm like, I can't reply to that person. That breaks my heart. So please, because I love you guys, just get your information from here and only from here. please. That's a plea for me, because even this week,
And by
I
here, he
received
means
some.
immigration.
Yeah, here, immigration.
.govt
It's on screen. It's on
.nz.
screen. I'm
Yeah.
pointing at the screen. It's pointing right here. Immigration.gov.nz. Like, this is where we get our information, and the only thing we can do is to read pages that we got from the site. That's as far as we can go. So if the answer to your question is anything else than a copy and paste from their website, we can't give it to you. Just sorry, I know it's a bit of a rant right here, but it happens to me so often, and it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just it. I'm gonna relax now.
Yeah. So if you're not from a visa waiver country, then you cannot come to New Zealand on the 1st of May. You will have to wait until October, unless those dates get pushed forward. But yeah, that's just the unfortunate thing. Usually, if you're not from a visa waiver country, you actually don't even need to get an NZETA. You have a separate visitor visa where you pay your own little fee for that.
Yeah.
Therefore, you do not have to pay an extra fee for the NZETA. And we have more information on nzpocketguide.com about what the NZETA is, who it applies to, and how to apply for it. So head over to nzpocketguide.com if you want to know more about the NZETA.
There's 2 rants right here. I'm just like,
Nathan says, have a great day. See you next week for the fun live stream. Thanks for joining us, Nathan. I see that this week, Nathan, you didn't ask us where our favourite place in the South Island is.
Yeah,
So,
there you go.
you're going to have to remember to do that next week, because we're not going to answer it unless you ask it. Joey says, that's odd how Australia is not on that visa list. Visa and New Zealand have their own separate...
Australia and New Zealand. You said visa and New Zealand.
Sorry, did I?
Australia and New Zealand, you have a separate agreement, and actually you have a travel free. You have a Tasman stuff, so you're not a visa waiver. You're different status but similar. But yeah, you are different.
You have a special agreement, which, as you've seen from the borders opening, the borders were first open to Australians before they're open to the rest of the world. Yeah. So, as you can see, that is New Zealand and Australia have their own sort of personal relationship.
Yeah, they're in bed together. I think there's some cahoots right here.
Natasha says, the word available doesn't sound like a normal word anymore when you say it, from all the times you repeated it in the work visa video.
Oh my god, that was too funny. So if you guys don't know, this week we released the video, this week we released the video about the working holiday visa. And so the note that I had, because again, I'm taking notes literally from the Immigration New Zealand website. Again, this literally, all our notes right here, they're always like copy and paste from New Zealand Immigration website. And so there is a big spreadsheet that you kind of can see right here, and it shows like the number of space available. And so I read like every single one of those countries. So I read like about 30 times, and I say 30 times in a row the word available. And yeah, I still barely can say that word without laughing. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Oh god, that was a funny video though.
That was. Sansa.
Sansa, I love that name. You know what? Natasha, I know I don't have a jingle right here and the music and everything like that, but Sansa, every single week, I pick somebody that has a really cool name and I give them the award of the best name. You get it this week. Congratulations. Woo! So yeah, best name award goes to Sansa. This is a meaningless award that is literally not even on screen. It's just like, it's the figment of your imagination. Here,
yes,
picture whatever you want.
Robin passing it to you through the screen right now.
See, I'm holding it. You can do a screenshot right here and then you can design your own award. 3, 2, 1. Here you go. You design your own award right here, but yeah, best name.
So Sandra says, hi both, thanks for doing this. Has the cost of things gone up in the last 2 years due to COVID? And would you suggest buying or renting a camper van?
So the buying and renting a camper van part is a question that we get really often, and we need more information from you, Sansa. Are you planning on staying in New Zealand for an extended period of time? How long are you planning on staying in New Zealand for? If you can answer that when we talk about the cost of living, then we can kind of circle back and give you some more information on this, because we do already have some videos on the channel about what is best to do. So first up, cost of living. Laura, have you found that the price of goods, foods and petrol has increased in the last few years?
Yeah, I think everything has gone up just marginally in terms of food.
Vastly.
In terms of food, right?
Yeah, it has, at least by 20%. Honestly, it has. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, expenses have went way up. Like,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, cost of life has gone up recently. However, I have updated maybe just about 3 months ago about our cost, or like the cost of how much does it cost to travel to New Zealand, which you can find on NZPocketGuide.com, which actually lists the typical prices for typical things when you come to New Zealand, including food, also including activities, transport, that sort of thing. So if you want to sort of make a bit of a travel budget, we do have an updated article on NZPocketGuide.com.
So can you tell them like where to go, or to go?
So if you go to travel tips, then down to travel advice, then budget. To budget. It should be one of the first things there, is it? The first result?
Cost of working or cost of backpacking?
No, the cost of travelling in New Zealand. How much does it cost to travel to New Zealand?
No.
Interesting. Maybe in the search you just type travel budget.
I'll find it.
Yeah. So yeah, in short, prices have gone up a little bit due to COVID and other sort of world events in the past 2 years. So yeah, obviously bear that in mind when you're making your own travel budget.
Okay, guys, so I can't find it on here. I think Laura may have changed the title of that article, because even when typing the cost of traveling in New Zealand, it doesn't
type
show.
travel budget.
Oh, God. I'm back on screen because you did not keep talking while I was doing that.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all right.
You can ask me. NZ travel budget almost is good. Okay, cool. So, Laura, you're back on screen now.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So we found it. What category is it in, Robin?
Budget. NZ. You can't ask me questions when I'm not on screen. Okay. You have to stop doing that.
All right. So So it is in the budget section of nzpocketguide.com under travel tips. Travel advice budget, and then you will find this very new updated article with the latest prices for food and sort of activities around New Zealand, general cost of transport, which, some transport does change with the season, so you do have to bear that in mind when you are booking for car rentals or camper van rentals, for example. So yeah, a lot of really handy information concerning budget on that article.
All right, so I'm back on screen. I would like to apologize to everybody that complains when Laura is on screen. She always asks me questions and I answer from off the screens. I know it's not great. I'm trying to hint at her to not do that again, but at some point that will happen.
I also get a delayed view of what is on screen, so I don't realize I'm on screen, and yeah, it's a whole thing. But it's all right. We're getting there.
I think here you can see and that's the live feed. This.
Yeah, if I do that, I can see it.
Can you not see it from where you are right now?
Vaguely.
Yeah, so you need to be able to see it from there.
Okay.
All right, moving on. So we're working out the kinks right here. And now when it comes down to buying or renting a camper van, Sansa is saying that they're planning to stay here for a year or so. So definitely it would be cheaper for you to buy a used camper van. And for that, we also do have full guide and tips for you in order to sort that out. So I'm going to go back to NZ Pocket Guide right here for buying your camper van. And if you go on travel tips right here, can you see it? So it's nzpocketguide.com. You go on travel tips and then transportation right here, and you have buying car and camper van. And if you click on there, you're going to see a ton of articles to advise you and help you into that journey, because it is not an easy, and there is a lot of lemons, meaning pretty bad vehicles in New Zealand. So make sure that you do your research, and that's why we have NZ Pocket Guide available for you, and it's all 100% free. So here you go. It's all free. It can be paid if you want to join us on Patreon and help support us, but otherwise everything is free. What is Nathan saying?
Nathan says, what are some of your favourite highlights from the South Island? He got in there. All right, I'm going to pick one. You're going to pick one? Do you want me to go first? Yes, you go first.
I'm going to go with Cape Falwin on the west coast, because there is a really cute lighthouse over there, and there is a fantastic seal colony. It's a fantastic pit stops. It's not too long of a walk, I'd say. Like if you're with the family and everything, it's like an hour at most. Going back and forth. It's a great little walk, great way to stretch your legs on your road trip on the South Island. Laura?
Today I'm going to pick Aoraki Mount Cook.
There you
so,
go.
yeah, it is...
From a hidden gem to the hardest thing to hide in the Southern.
It is obviously a very popular touristy area, but for good reason. It is home to the highest peak in New Zealand, also the longest glacier. There's all sorts of really amazing activities to do, like glacier heli hiking, amazing scenic flights in the area, but also if you're on a budget, there's some stellar hiking tracks to be done, which can last you from 20 minutes to half a day to multiple days. So yeah, it's a really awesome scenic area. Definitely recommend it.
Sansa is happy about the awards, so here you go. Moro says hi from Spain.
Hello.
Hey.
Hola.
Hola. ¿Qué tal? Hafiz is saying, should I apply online tourist visa after the tourist visa open? Yes, you cannot apply before that opens. So yes, you have to wait that it is available to you indeed. And in order to see when it's available, go to the address on screen right now. All right, and then Hafiz continues, says, I'm applying online, but on initial step, it's asking for me to upload a photo taken at a special booth, and the address of this booth are in New Zealand, even though I wrote I am coming from Germany. What are you applying for? And if you do have any questions, you need to ask the people at Immigration New Zealand anyway. You need to apply at Immigration New Zealand and ask all your questions on that website. We cannot answer specific immigration questions because it's illegal for us to do so.
Violet Zulu says, hello, my good people, my best friends. How much did I miss? Oh, you missed a little bit of a...
You missed 52 minutes. Of,
yeah. So far we've talked about the updated travel news this week, which is about the borders opening a little bit earlier than originally planned. Although we already have separate videos on the channel of those, if you want to actually check out the videos we did when those announcements were first made. So we just went over that quickly.
Yeah.
And we've also talked about, we just talked about our favourite places in the South Island this week.
And speaking of that, Kiwi Lorenz says, Cape Following is a beautiful walk. Here you go.
Oh, nice.
Here you go, Nathan. And he says, she says, I remember the seals there. Yeah, the seals. I remember how lazy they were. They basically gave us almost no movement. If you watch our video of New Zealand's biggest gap year of us going at Cape Following, it is so funny how the seals are barely moving. And what I kept in the edit was like the most action the seal would do. Because otherwise there was literally nothing. It's so funny. Hafiz says, Laura, Robin, are you guys married? Are we married?
No, we're not.
Nah. But we act like an old couple, don't we?
Yeah, maybe the Lord will smite us for that. Hafiz says, it's around 9 p.m. watching from Germany.
Oh, nice. So I hope you're having a lovely evening in Germany. Anthony Comstock, what is he saying? Something very original.
Yes, he says his signature phrase, which is stay safe, but I'm here till the end. But there's more, guys. Listening, I'm with my mum's buddy, who's in the nursing home right now, but temporarily. So I'm busy, but I am listening.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice of you to spend some time with your buddy's mum.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, buddy's mum.
Kiwi Lorenz says, do you guys still have clothing for sale? I went to go look, but I couldn't find the link. No, we didn't make the clothing ourselves, right? I just did some designs, and then I was like, oh, like if some people are taking it, and I kept it live for about 6 months, and we didn't have a single person getting one of them, so we decided to stop doing that, and we thought like Patreon will be a different ways to monetize the channel because it gives much more of a personal interaction with people as well. And it ended up also being like much cheaper as well. So yeah,
I think it provides a bit more value for people.
Yeah, I think it's much more value as well, in my personal opinion, compared to like just a t-shirt. So yeah, so we decided to go that route. Also, well, people like Fabio were poking us to death until we went on Patreon. So they were right. It's a really cool platform, and we get to do a lot of different things. So yeah, so that's more like the route that we decided to go for, and yeah. We may do some merch again, but also it's kind of like as soon as you start doing merch, it's kind of like you start promoting like fast fashion and like everybody needs this and that. So I need to find like a sustainable way to do merch if we decide to do merch. And so for this reason, we're gonna stick to Patreon right now. I think the value is like way greater right here. Like I put a lot of work into Patreon, so I think it's, and there's only 11 people right now, so because we have Sander. I need to put Sander's name on screen. I forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think it's a better way to kind of get people to support us, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for looking into
I
our past merch sort of endeavor that dramatically failed.
Yeah.
But at least we now know that one person may have been interested.
Yeah, that was worth a week's work for me of design and everything.
Adil says, thank you for always giving us honest, official information and for resisting the temptation of giving fake information. Yes, that's kind of, it's obviously what we prefer. It's what we can live with as well, you know? It's like we only want to give people what we know is correct.
Yep.
And even when, we did make one mistake actually on this live chat today, because there has been some new updated information that you no longer... that there's actually more options.
Again, thanks to B Plus N for pointing that out.
Yes, thanks to our viewers that let us know. So yeah, when there is something that's changed, then we do try to update things as quickly as possible.
And again, you have to realize, and so that stems back to like what I was talking about with Patreon as well, right? You have to realize that this channel is ridiculously small, right? We have like almost like close to 28,000 subscribers, right? It is pretty small, but most of the videos, they get a few hundred views, right? So this makes nothing, right? On average, a video would make us $1.20. Compared to the amount of work that it is to make all those videos, we are losing money, like spending so much time making videos almost daily for you guys. Like absolutely we are, right? So the goal right here is just to actually have a way to connect with you guys, because NZ Pocket Guides, as you know, we always brand it as New Zealand's largest website. It is New Zealand's largest website. It has millions and millions and millions of readers. So it's kind of a way to have a doorway to connect with you guys. We should link them a little bit more. We should do more things, but that will push us to be more mainstream. Because if you talk to millions of people, then you want to be a little bit more mainstream. And when you get to be more mainstream, this is usually when you are more skewed into trying to please more the masses rather than actually doing what you believe is right. So we really work so hard onto keeping that just as it will grow very slowly. And most of the time, really often when I read comments, people say, you should have more view, you should have more view. It's nice, but that will come with a little bit of price as well. So it will grow, and in time it will get more views. We at some point we'll be on YouTube for over 10 years. So it will grow. But yeah, so our focus is really much not on growing the channel and therefore telling you guys what you want to hear, but I think is saying the right thing. So that's where it stemmed from. Okay, so Violet, so Mosen, so emoji guy obviously gave us the longest list of emoji in the world as per usual. That's a lot of them. I have to say my favorite on this one is the tiny hedgehog. I did not know there was a hedgehog emoji, and I think it's a very cute one. Violet Zulu says, oh, I missed a lot, and I will try to watch that later. We are on blackout since 6 p.m. until now. Oh, no. So you have often blackouts in South Africa? Is that something that is a recurring occurrence? If you guys don't know, Violet Zulu is a regular viewer, and she's living in South Africa. Carol Anderson says, what is the cost of the ferry with car from the South Island to the North Island? Are discounts available?
Okay, so for a price range, because there are different prices depending on what time of day you go, or maybe what specials they have on, but for a passenger and a car, that's usually between 200 and 255 New Zealand dollars going from the South Island to the North Island. So yeah, that's around about the price in terms of
what did you say with the car?
With the car, about 200 to 255.
Yeah, that's about the price.
Yeah, so that's the general price. I know that recently with the Omicron outbreak, there has been a few changes to ferry schedules, who they're actually taking across because they have a lack of staff at the moment. But if you are talking about in general, maybe if you're coming to New Zealand in maybe in a month or two's time, a couple of months' time, or later in the year, then the prices hopefully will get back to their more stable price range, which is 200 to 255 New Zealand dollars. And in terms of how to get discounts, well, usually the way you can save money is to travel on a really early time slot or a later time slot. The middle of the day tends to be like the most convenient times, basically in the middle of the day are when it is more expensive. Yeah. So yeah, a sunrise sailing is definitely a really scenic time of the day to go.
There's a reason why we did a sunrise sailing during New Zealand's biggest gap year, because we are super cheap.
Yes, so I recommend just pick an early time slot, wake up extra early and enjoy the sunrise on the ferry.
Gabrielle says, is there any chance of the visas that are due for October would be brought forward? I literally answered this question about 15 minutes ago, and yes, the New Zealand Prime Minister has strongly hinted that they are trying to move the step forward. However, they need Immigration New Zealand to be back at full speed for that time, and so this is when there is a dichotomy between, what the political will wants and what is actually feasible in practice. And so for Immigration New Zealand to restart, it will take some time, and so we will have some announcements. We will cover that on the channel as soon as we do. It probably will be pushed forward, but as to when, well, nobody can predict at this stage.
And Al Ilm also asks a very similar question, so that should apply to you as well, Al Ilm, which is, hi, any idea step 5 can come closer so we can apply for the new visa before October and come to New Zealand?
That's unlikely. It's probably going to be like when that opens, then you're going to be able to start applying. So it's unlikely that you'll be able to lodge your application before, the borders open. It's going to happen about at the same time. Okay. So Hafiz says, I want to see all cricket grounds of New Zealand. That is a lot of cricket grounds.
That is a niche as well. I mean, not a lot of people ask us
cricket
about...
Cricket travels of New Zealand.
Yeah, no, not a lot of people ask us about travelling to all the cricket grounds in New Zealand. And although we do have an article for pretty much everything on nzpocketguide.com, I'm afraid to say that we do not have an article on the top 50 cricket grounds of New Zealand, but we do have one for the golf courses.
Yeah, here you go.
If you're into golfing, we have information on golf, but yeah.
Interesting niche.
Interesting niche indeed.
JT say, I can't wait. I got our tickets. When do you get your tickets for? Where are you traveling? What's the hubs? Come on, give us some details,
more,
right?
JT.
It's just a tease. JT, you're just being a tease right here.
JT's more like.
Yeah, JT's. There you go. I like that. B+N says, I like how personal your channel is, but I wish you could be rewarded more for your work. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I love Patreon. It's really cool. You get some people, they just give us like $5 a month, and it's really cool because we get to hang out pretty much every single day on the Facebook group and everything. So, it works. And that's the thing as well. We do other things, NZ Pocket Guide works, and also we live a non-greedy life, which is better. That's a big reward. I can tell you that right now. Not chasing the money is a reward in itself.
Kiwi Lauren says, gotta run. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you later. And Nathan says, I'm planning on going from Mabel Tasman to Fiordland National Park and then on to Mount Cook.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. You're gonna enjoy this drive on the west coast of the South Island, I'm guessing, since you're probably gonna go west coast.
Yeah.
And that means that you can stop in Cape Falwyn, which is a good place to stop at. And then finishing in Queenstown, he says.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then finishing in Queenstown.
What's Emoji Guy saying?
Mossen says.
That's Emoji Guy.
That's Emoji Guy. Yes. Is it 1st of May reopening borders for tourists official? Should I up my hope for arrival in June?
Yeah, so if you are a tourist from a visa waiver country, then yes, it's official. So if your country is on the list of the visa waiver country on the Immigration New Zealand website, then yes, it's official. So if your country is on the list, which is on screen right now, I'm on the Immigration New Zealand website right here. If your country is on this list right here, you can freeze frame and read the screen. Since now we're in HD, by the way, thanks to our Patreon subscribers, we're in HD. Now you guys can read the screen easily. No, that way. I need to know when to point. Boom. So yeah, read here. If your country is right here, then you're a visa waiver country, and then that's official. If your country is not on that list, then it's not official, and we need to wait until the step 5. How's that sound? Here you go. And that's enough time, right? Yeah. Laura.
B+N says, I've been using your Fiji Pocket Guide to plan a future dream trip.
Oh, nice.
Nice. We also have travel guides for Niue Pocket Guide. Their borders aren't open just yet, but hopefully they'll open soon.
Oh, that doesn't look likely.
No. What about, we also have Tonga Pocket Guide, but unfortunately Tonga has had more than just issues with COVID this year. That they've had much more.
And not open either, so.
They're not open either. But yeah, Fiji Pocket
33 likes, by the way. I'm just going to stop you right here. 33 likes. We are 4 likes away from
me.
I don't care what you're saying. 33 likes, epic. All right. Yep. What were you saying?
No, that's okay. Off you go.
And upcoming, we have Cook Island Pocket Guide. That's what you were to say, right?
Yeah. something like that.
Oh, don't you big grumpy. All right, guys. So on the channel this week, what do we have, Laura?
On the channel this week,
Yes.
we have our 15 airport hacks coming up.
There you go.
There's something a little bit different for you guys.
Yeah, when we were at the Auckland airport, when flying to the Cook Island, we filmed a couple of videos. They're coming in the next few weeks. You know, I post one a week because I got to edit them and everything. There's some work to do.
We're also doing our recap of New Zealand's biggest gap year, where a few years ago, Robin and I did 365 days of 365 activities in New Zealand. So we're doing a recap series for you guys to tell you what's changed with some of those activities.
Yeah. And this week we're going to be featuring the beautiful Washpen Falls, which is such a hidden gem on the South Island that may want to keep it in your head for next week's Nathan question.
Oh, yes, that would be a good one to
I
tell
know.
Nathan
When
next
when
week.
I was like, oh yeah, that's Washpen Falls. Damn, I should have said that. Oh, but yeah. So yeah, I'm going to try to keep that for Nathan's question.
Yeah.
Which will be a bit... I don't know, because we know why he's asking the question. He's going on a trip and everything. It's quite a detour from where he's going in his area, but you know, it is a good place.
Yeah, I mean, his question's quite open-ended,
Yeah,
just in general. Where's our favourite place on the South Island? So,
Yeah. And then on Sunday, we obviously have another one of those live sessions to answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand for sure. Okay.
Emoji Guy has more,
More emojis. Yeah.
He's-
What is? Yeah.
G says...
G. Oh wow, that is you guys on first name basis.
G has a question for you, Robin.
Oh,
Says,
what?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing well. I'm trying to contain my excitement of the fact that we got so many good news this week. You know, it has been a long time, and so that's why Laura and I are being so cheeky, and we're like a little bit like, just because it has been a long time since we had so many really, really good news. So here you go. And
And
yeah,
just so you guys know, the good news is that the borders for New Zealand are opening throughout the rest of the year. Just in case you just
Yeah.
tuned in.
yeah. No other news.
No other news.
Yeah,
just
we
the
literally-
borders opening.
Yeah. Okay. G says, I am from India. Now I can apply for work visa in New Zealand. Now opening borders, sir. I'm watching your video. Okay. No, you cannot apply for a visa just yet. Immigration New Zealand is currently closed and will reopen in October 2022. That's currently where we are. October 2022. All right, guys. Yep.
I was just going to say, let's have a look at the poll.
Oh, yes. I forgot about the
Let's
poll completely.
wrap up
Okay,
this
so
live
we had a
session.
poll. 43 people voted on the poll. How is more people voting on the poll than liking?
There's more people interested in our poll
I
than
know.
liking
Can
our
you
video.
see that? Can you see
so
what I'm pointing?
37 likes.
We just beat last time.
Oh, wow, guys.
There you go. 37 likes on
Thank
that video.
you so
That's
much.
pretty
That
epic.
is a nice free way to say thank you for our hard work. It tells the YouTube algorithm that this video might be worth watching for some people. And yeah. And yeah, so thank you so much for your support in giving us just a nice cheeky free like. It's always a feel good factor. But more people did vote in the poll, so yeah, let's
Go ahead,
take a
it's
look
on
at the
screen.
poll. So, to the question, the New Zealand borders open to most tourists on the 1st of May. When will you come to holiday in New Zealand? 48% of you said by the end of the year.
Boom! We're going to see a lot of you, I feel. That's going to be
Yeah.
epic.
And we had 32% saying within a month. Very keen people. And then we have I will wait until 2023 was 18%. So very reasonable.
Yeah, people that want
there.
the situation to stabilize, not having to do all the rat tests and all these kind of things, and be like, you know what? I want a no-nonsense travel experience. I'm coming in 2023.
Yes.
So yeah, I like that. Thank you to everybody that have hit the like button. This extra person that, since Laura said 37, decided to click and made it 38.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yeah, what's happening next right now is that I'm having a live session with the Patreon, so that's an extra hour that I'm going to hang out with them. If you feel like joining us on Patreon, there's a link in the description below, and you'll have access to a secret Facebook group, extra live sessions, and plenty more. And yeah, we'll be back next week at exactly the same time. Natasha, you may want to write down the time. Okay? Yeah? I'm not-
Daylight savings isn't changing next week,
Yeah,
so it
it's
will
not.
be different.
No, yeah. But it will be
next week.
different. It will be different a week after, if I'm correct, because then we're moving in April. Yeah. So next week is okay, and then the week after, Natasha is going to be confused again because we're
Yeah.
changing time after
We
that.
might have to
and
send
you
a
don't.
special reminder to her as a Patreon exclusive. You
Yeah.
get special reminders.
Oh, they get one for the Patreon live session, but I should do it for the normal live session too. All right, enough natter, enough chit chat, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Keep on traveling, awesome. And if you have any questions and we couldn't answer your question this week because you came up late, it's okay. Put in the comment and we'll pick it up for next week. Bye bye.
See you next week. Bye.
Is it up?